So listen, everybody, this is a unique opportunity to view the other side of our program, the Consulting Blueprint. Now, candidly, I usually don't onboard people. Like, I am pretty much just running the whole company. I sometimes will do some group calls, but we have just the most incredible coaching team, and all the results that you see here come from them. But for this person individually, my sales team sort of told him, hey, you know what, would love to have you have a call with Trey because we just think that you're going to crush it. I was like, sure, I've got some white space, let's do it. So in this call, what you're going to see is a live coaching call with myself, setting up sort of the playing field for somebody to come in and do $10,000 to $25,000 a month in 30 to 60 days as a byproduct of their investment into our program. So, this is a sort of treatment that you can expect as a byproduct of getting started with us. But even if you decide not to get started with us and you just want to watch the video in an educational way, that's totally fine too. And you'll get a lot of key lessons out of this because I'm observing somebody's situation, figuring out what makes the most sense for them to do next in order to get them moving very, very quickly, right? And get them booking calls and making sales with a brand new sort of coaching or consulting offer. Okay, so this individual person makes about $5,000 to $6,000 a month at a 9 to 5, and he's wanting to leave that and start his own thing. So I'm really, really excited to share this video with you because this person I do believe is going to do quite well, and I think it's going to be a pretty solid piece of content for you to take home. And even if you don't buy a program, seriously, it's not a big deal at all. You can just get a lot from this call in of itself, okay? But if you decide that you want to speak with us about our program, links in the description to book a consult right into our calendar, and we can speak with you and see if it is, a good fit for you to do this. So either way, enjoy the call. It's about an hour long, and it's really in depth on kind of how we run advertisements, how we book meetings, how we position sales, and everything like that, because it can be really valuable and informational for you if you're looking to start your consulting business and learn kind of how we help our clients get started so quick. So enjoy. Welcome, bro. I just got done listening to your call with Chantel and Matt just to kind of get up to speed, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be very forward with you, man. If you play your cards right, you're gonna crush it with us, man. Like, we have a lot of people come in who they're just so awkward. like half of this business is like sales, And so if I can just show you like, okay, let's just get an offer dialed in, get some calls on the calendar, like, bro, you're gonna crush it. So I'm really happy you decided to pull the trigger with this dude. I know Matt gave you that payment split, and I'm glad he did it because we try to be reserved about people that we do stuff like that with because it puts us at risk. Like, I've already spent, most of your money just commissioned and to Anthony, but for people that we know can really crush it with us, like, yeah, it makes sense to do it. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Well, welcome aboard. So let me start here. First of all, just so you know, my onboarding call with you, it's a cherry on top. It's a bonus. You still need to do yours with Anthony. Anthony's really going to help you with a lot of the ground floor stuff. He's going to help you maybe map out the exact next 14 days, do this every day. My job, dude, I run the full company. So I run the sales team. We've got a massive sales team. I've got the delivery, so I'm not really, I do onboarding calls because I really enjoy it. I think that first initial interaction is very, very important. And I actually enjoy that portion of running this business. But the course, dude, is honestly going to give you pretty much everything you need. Like, I hate for you to get on a call with me and then I'm like, dude, just go watch the course. But I spent 7 months building it. So it literally has everything. But based on your call with Matt and Chantel, you really just got to do two things, man. You're already good enough at sales. I would prefer you still go through our sales training. Okay, well, let me back up. Are you cool if I'm just like an information hose for a minute and I just tell you what I would do in your shoes, where you should focus, and then towards the end of the call, you can ask me any questions? Is that okay?
That sounds perfect, yeah.
Okay, dude. So you can already sell. So that's great. But I want to refine your ability to sell specifically consulting. Okay, so where I would zero in if I'm you is I would go through the Consulting Blueprint 2.0 sales training, scroll down towards the end, watch those modules like today. Okay, watch them in full today, pen and pad, take notes, print out the script, and adjust the wording of the script for, your hypothetical, I think it's, how would you phrase it? Helping small businesses save money, which is really interesting. That's sort of that industry. So I would start there. Okay, because I want you to understand and come into this with a bit of a framework of how you're going to have these conversations. A lot of people, there's really two sides to a prospect's brain, dude, when you're selling them consulting. The first is the feature brain. This is the what exactly am I getting? How exactly does this work? What's in it for me? Is there a contract? And even yourself, you're like, hey, can I speak to somebody else in the community? And I'm like, no, we gotta help you understand you're making a commitment to yourself. And if the person is committed properly to your services, you can always serve them. You can always, always, always help people simply because you have the experience that you have. So it's a matter of getting them fully committed to you. So there's the other side of their brain, which we call the outcome brain. And there's a really good quote that I love, and we'll train you on all this. People make decisions with emotion and then justify them with logic after the fact. And so we're going to help you sell people on a better business, more cash flow, more freedom with their business, sort of, who knows, maybe additional cash flow so they can make more hires or expand their operations, whatever it is like that, right? And we'll kind of help you map that out a little bit. But between here and there, dude, I want you to understand that you're not selling cash flow saving services. I want you to think about, we would train you in this in the program. I want you to think about the second, third, and fourth order consequences of having a higher profit margin business. So for a small business owner, this very, very well could translate to, and on your calls, you'll notice we asked you very personal questions, brother. We want to understand your actual goals. Like, cool, you want to make 20, 30 grand a month. Why do you want to do that? And you and I have this in common, that we just want to set up our families, dude. That's why I got started in this when I was 19. I'm 23 now, I'm married. And here we are, I've got a kid coming and all this. So like very similar in that way. And so in that, dude, we really believe that business is person to person. So we sell that way, we do business that way. And we get people to understand that if they make this commitment, it's for a deeper reason for themselves. So when you're speaking to business owners, it's not cash flow saving. It's, okay, cash flow saving does what for you? And you'll have a framework for doing all this when you move forward. So step one, watch the sales training. Okay. The second thing, can I just share my screen and show like social profiles of some students that are doing really, really well in like sort of semi-similar niches to yourself, and like kind of how we help them set up their prospecting systems?
That sounds perfect. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. So there's kind of two phases to our delivery, and Matt sort of briefly overviewed this. The first is the organic, the free strategies. You spent $3,400 on this program. It's your call if you want to spend more on ads. If you're willing to, we can move straight to the paid stuff. But if you're like, all right, I'd rather trade time for money than money for money. At my current situation, I'm making like 5 or 6 grand a month. So it's your personal decision. Time for money, we're going to show you how to use organic groups like LinkedIn or Facebook groups and communities to sort of add value to these communities, ask key questions, create connections, friendships, relationships, and move people down your pipeline after we've clarified your offer, which I actually want you to go to Anthony for clarifying your offer. I'm not going to spend too much time on that today, because all of the offers you're seeing that, you're seeing students crushing it, like all the examples that you used in that webinar that you watched, 90% of that is Anthony, dude. Like, I mean, he's too humble. He got his business to $50,000 a month with us as a leadership coach. He's a freaking G. And he knows how to build offers. He knows how to pull out of you something that would really sell. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that today. Really, sales and kind of the marketing is where I want to hang out with you. So let me show you just an example. This is somebody who literally just got started with us. Okay, so this is my buddy Michael. So he got started with us, dude, like probably 3 weeks ago. And he had a lot of cash on hand. So he's making about $20,000 a month as a life insurance agent. He wants to help other life insurance agents replicate his results. He's very passionate about the industry. He believes a lot of people get into it with the right reasons. They're really sold on getting into life insurance sales. And then they realize, oh man, I'm terrible at sales. I don't know how to prospect. I don't know any of this. And then they're like frustrated for years. So he's very passionate about that group of people. So basically he went straight to the paid media version. I'm going to link you his profile over text here, and you can just take a look at this whenever you want. All right. But basically what we teach, and I'm skipping to the paid stuff, I'll show you the organic stuff here in a sec, is we have you film an ad following a script. And I'll outline the script for you right now, just verbally. It's, hey, if you are insert group of people looking to achieve insert outcome without thing that you don't like, then I want to show you how to use mechanism, the strategy we teach, and fill in the blank, to create outcome in X time frame or less. So follow me here on Instagram for free. I've got nothing for sale. I've just got a lot of really valuable content, and I'm going to post daily stories and tips showing you what I've learned, helping all these other people do this. Okay. And what you'll do when you get this right, Jonas, you're going to film 5 to 10 versions of this advertisement, and you're going to run them at like $5 to $10 a day, like cheap. And then, of the 10 that you run, about 3 days in, you spent like a couple $100, and you'll have like one very clear winner. Just turn off the rest of them. The winner is the one that gets the most comments, the most, people messaging you, yada, yada. We'll show you how to track that on the back end. What we start to get is my client, Michael, he's now getting booked meetings for $100. And these are closable meetings for his $5,000 offer that he's built. Okay. So that's the paid media side. It's ridiculously simple. So to make this really work for you, I want you to understand some of the resources that we're going to provide. And in order, first of all, go to Anthony. I want you to get very clear on your offer because, you know, until we have something that you're really convicted about, that you're excited to sell, that you feel good about, and it's got some meat to it, then none of this makes sense. Inside of your offer, there's kind of two functions. There's the MT, which is the measurable transformation, which will help you craft. And then there's the CST. This is what we call a customer success timeline. So this is the series of actions from point A to Z. It can be anywhere from 3 to 30 major steps. All right. And you can get as granular or as high level as you want to get with your clients, but we're going to help you map it out because we've helped a lot of people build a lot of B2B services in consulting. But you'll kind of get clear on these, and you'll get clear. The last thing is the messaging. So there's the measurable transformation. What's the outcome of your consulting? A lot of beginners, man, they get super hung up on selling the process and the delivery and how many calls somebody's going to get and how many touch points and all this BS. And they dig themselves like a delivery hole instead of just saying, look, if you just do what I'm going to tell you to do, you're going to get the outcome. So do you want this or not? You know what I mean? And that's the ideal consulting sales scenario. Okay. See it. And that's why measurable transformation is so important. CST is a series of steps. Okay. We'll help you design all this. Again, this is just high level telling you what we do. And then the messaging kind of reflects like what I just told you in the ad, right? Hey, if you are blank, looking to achieve blank, I want to show you how to use blank to do it in X or Y, Z time frame or less, right? And the messaging is who's it for and making sure that your ideal prospects actually feel called out. So think about your situation. In 72 hours or less, you saw an advertisement, you watched a video, you booked a call, you bought a thing. So we're really good at messaging. We're really good at understanding like what do ideal prospects need to hear, okay? And what do the people that we know we can serve need to hear? And so we'll kind of help you dial some of that in as well. Once you've dialed in your offer, and again, this is really Anthony's a G with all this. Once you've done this stuff, I'm trying to collapse this. Oh my goodness. There we go. All right. So next steps after that, step 2 is we're going to start our marketing firestorm. We're just going to go straight to the market. By the way, this shouldn't take more than 3 or 4 days. So a lot of people spend like a month here. It does. You don't need to spend a month. I want you to understand, dude, the process of building an offer and selling it, it's actually an iterative process wherein you build an offer, you try to make some sales. If you don't make some sales, you adjust the offer, but you're always going out into the market and actually testing this thing live against the marketplace. And you're seeing if people are willing to buy, because a lot of people do, they dig themselves this mental pit of like trying to make something perfect. You know what I mean? But it's never perfect. Even our program, dude, I don't know how you feel on the receiving end right now. You got to understand, man, this is 4 years of iteration. This is 4 years of every time we get a negative piece of feedback, we adjust. Every time we get a positive piece of feedback, we do more of whatever the hell we did that went so well. And so it's just kind of this constant back and forth. And so I want you to understand that selling while building is the mentality. So I don't want you to build. Okay, I feel kind of good enough about this and then go sell. That's the wrong way of viewing it. It's get something that's good enough to move, go make some offers, see what people have to say. If they say no, listen to those calls, hear why, make the necessary adjustments. If they say yes, sweet. What did we do right? Let's triple down. Ask the client, hey, like, to be candid, you're like one of my first clients. Like, what made you move? And most people are totally cool to answer questions like that. And then you'll learn. So kind of a mindset that I want you to have, brother, is just kind of a data-driven student scientist. So a very humble approach of like, I don't know what I don't know, right? This might work, it might not. I'm going to get out here. I'm going to make some offers. And dude, if I get a student into that mentality, it takes them like 30 days to find an offer that they could potentially scale to 6 figures a month if they really wanted to, because they're not coming in with preconceived notions. So a lot of the time, one of the things that we have to really combat in our marketing, think about our situation, is people that come in thinking they're already an expert at something and they just want to package and sell it. Cool enough. The problem is you're not starting with a market need. You're not starting with the market's actual feedback of what they want, what they need, right? So you look at all successful startup companies, they all start with a market need. So part of our offer creation process and offer design is actually having you talk to some people. If you're not comfortable selling something that isn't quite there yet, fair enough. We're going to have you do some actual one-on-one Zoom sessions with your ideal customers, show you how to attract those and ask some key questions to get clear on, what would this offer really look like? Okay. And we'll help you piece that all together. So anyway, next steps are twofold. The first is the marketing organic. Whoops, let me share this. That was what I wanted to share. I want to share the whiteboard. First is the organic marketing. This is if your cash flow low, which again is a personal decision for yourself. I don't know how much you got, what your credit limit, whatever. You know what I mean? To be honest, if you're wanting my recommendation, I would move to the paid stuff. Okay, because it sounds like you've got a cash flow vehicle with this other business you're working for. You can make some more money if you absolutely have to. And dude, worst case scenario, like you're good enough at sales. If you get clear on your offer, you'll break even on ads. Like this is just my honest opinion.
Right.
Some people come in
Yeah.
and they have such an aversion to spending on advertising. So it's like, cool, we'll teach you some organic stuff. I'll show you what this is though. So basically all you got to do, pick a platform, whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn, and then you just want to join like 30 plus groups that may potentially have the sorts of people in them that you could work with. Okay. So we've got training in the CB 2.0 course portal that goes more in depth. But it'll be the second module in that training where we talk about launching into the market. And we help you design 3 types of content for these groups. The first is a question post, which asks a key question that tends to spark a response from ideal prospects. The second is what we call a value post. This is where you just for free take all of what's in your head and you just list it out. You add a ton of value to people and help them out. And you get typically the people who are like, oh man, this is really good. They add you as a friend or add you as a connection and you message them and you start a conversation. Okay. And then the third one is what we call story posts. A lot of people, they have consulting offers that are sort of them driven. So say you were a small business owner and you cut back on your expenses, you tell the story of how much it helped you, right? And like what they did for your life and your family and whatever. It doesn't sound like you, but maybe there's a way we can tie something in. So, that's the method. And then the second step after that, once we're putting up content and we're getting responses, so we're response positive, we move into just Messenger. Our goal is to have, 3 to upwards of sometimes even like 20 conversations a day. And just talk to people, man. We're asking them questions. The 3 things we need to identify over Messenger, and we'll give you a script for this. We've got a long format private boot camp training. It's like a Zoom recording video of myself and one of our head, what we call appointment setters, who talks to people on DM for us and our company all day. And he generated over $1.5 million in sales for our company. So he just went really deep on like how to ask the right questions and how to really frame these conversations and set calls that could potentially close. But high level, and you'll get that again in the marketing training I just mentioned, high level, you want to know 3 things. Okay. Let me draw a better 3 that looks like shit. 3 things. The first is, where are they now? Okay, so where are they now? What's their current expenses look like? What's their current revenue? Right? And you're just very uninvasive with these questions. You're just you can even send, since you're a one-man show, dude, you have the ability to just send voice notes even. And just be like, hey, I saw you left a comment on my post. I'd love to get to know you. Let me know if you're free for a quick chat today, like 5-10 minutes. I'd love to learn more about your business and just see how things are going, and just very uninvasive. And a lot of people really overthink the approach here. Eventually, you'll kind of find an attitude and a rhythm with how you're going to approach people. Okay, and we'll help you with that. The next is where they want to get. So what's their goal? So where are they now? Cool, clarify it. Where do they want to get? Got it, makes sense. And then you just want to hear what's stopping them from getting there on their own. So, okay, you've got 20, 25,000 a month in expenses. You'd like to take like 15 so you can introduce some more profits. Like why haven't you done that yourself yet? And then often this is when people often get very personal. They're like, well, honestly, I've got all kinds of reasons. And they just give you like what we call the list. It's like this reason and like, well, this reason and like this reason. It's like, cool. And if you've done the discovery phase properly, then at this point you can just say, dude, are you free for a chat sometime this week or early next week? I'd love to like share more of my thoughts on this and to see if I can help you. And then from there, you'll follow our sales script, and it'll either be a 1 or a 2 call close. Sometimes you got to warm somebody up, meet with them again, close them on a deal. Other times they're like in deep, deep pain. You know what I mean? They're like, they just need a solution, and you run it. So that's the organic. The messenger stuff onward doesn't change for paid. The only difference for paid is that instead of us putting up content and trading time for money, we're using our money to generate opportunity. And so going back to my buddy's page, Michael here. So I'll actually play for you his ads. They're not even like that good. Like, I'm not even going to lie, but they're good enough. So let me show you.
Guys, if you're an insurance agent, I know you've heard that 92% of all insurance agents fail. Now, if you want to learn how to not only get past this hurdle, but make over $10,000 in new business commissions every single month, then I urge you to follow me on Instagram, where I teach you tips and advice.
Like, still awkward, not even following the script. Like, it's good enough, but he's booked like now 7 or 8 meetings and closed a couple of deals down. So it's really just about getting in front of the right people, right? And then having the right conversations. So in our program, when you go through the course material, we're going to introduce you to one of our key sort of concepts, because we believe that half of coaching is getting people to focus on the things that actually matter. We're in a very noisy world. There's a lot of distractions. There's a new business influencer every 3 minutes, and they've all got different opinions. And who do you listen to, and how do you get? I think entrepreneurs with clarity are the most dangerous entrepreneurs, right? So in clarity, it's what do you also not focus on? So what do you ignore? Well, in our program, we give you what we call the magic 3. These are the only 3 things that you have to do if you want to guarantee that you reach $10, $20, $30,000 a month of the program. Okay. The first of the 3, and you'll learn this in the course. And again, like I said, it's really well built, and Anthony's a G, and you'll get all this, but I just want to give it to you now. First of the 3 is activities that book meetings today or increase the odds of booking them in the future. Okay. That's the first. This is the only thing you got to do with your free time now, man. When you're not working, you're thinking, okay, how do I book meetings today or increase the odds of me booking meetings in the future? Examples could be writing content for groups and posting it like we tell you to, or filming a couple new versions of your ads, or checking the performance of those ads, or pulling up the messenger conversations you've had with some prospects and getting them reviewed on a coaching call so you can sort of better that approach, right? So just some examples, and I'm sure you can creatively come up with your own ideas there within that bubble. So that's the first of the magic 3, activities that generate meetings today and in the future. The second of the magic 3 is obviously conducting these meetings and aiming to lock down at least 30% of them. So we actually run our business off about a 30% conversion rate. Okay, well, so we'll give you a spreadsheet in the marketing section that you can download and use to track all your numbers and get very clear, because, eventually you're going to have a very numbers driven system with the paid media stuff, the paid advertising, where you're like, I know that if I spend $1,000, I'm going to make 3,000 back. And that's a really cool place to be as a business owner. Like, candidly, on your account, we spent $300 to acquire you. So it's just like, I'm 10x in my business right now. So I'm like, why don't I just push this thing to the moon? Right. And so that's the cool, we talk about that in the webinar. That's where the consulting model can just get so dope. It's like every sale turns into more sales. And that's, again, why I like moving into paid media as soon as possible. So that's the second, is conducting your meetings and aiming for at least 30% close rate. And in that bubble, it's, getting your sales calls reviewed by the coaches, pulling them up on a call and seeing what people have to say. We've got these sales call review buckets that you can pop into, and we can really coach you through that. Okay. And it's also, reviewing your calls yourself. Actually, one of the best things I did when I was just getting started in this, dude, is I was only booking like a call a day there for a couple months, because I wasn't, I didn't have a guy like me telling me what to do, and I was just hustling it out. But what I would do is I'd listen to the call on repeat, and just with a pen and a notepad, just write down what I'd do different next time, or what I did good that I should do more of. And you can objectively listen to yourself, contrast your conversation to our sales training, and just be like, where am I missing? And just kind of self-coach. And that's huge. So that second is conducting meetings and getting better at conducting them, basically. And then the last one is iterating and refining your delivery processes. So it's never done. You're never going to have the ideal delivery process. I'm $5 million in sales, 3.5 years into this business, and I still feel like there's some delivery gaps in my business. Okay. I'm like still kind of hard on Anthony sometimes. And I'm like, bro, we got to, like, there's things that we could do better. But it's more than good enough, but obviously it's no excuse. So all of these 3 continue to get better with time. None of these are ever done. Your ability to book meetings, you can always improve. I've got a buddy right now that books 150 sales meetings a day for his company. They do $1.2 million a month in the consulting field, and I helped them get started 4 years ago. And then you've got guys that are like yourself, and you're just getting for 1 or 2 a day to try to lock down a couple of deals. That will improve with time. The sales meetings will improve with time, and the delivery will improve with time, but you have to ignore pretty much everything else. So anything else, and some examples of some things that aren't going to serve you, is like mindlessly going through the course. Go through the course with some intent. Know what you're looking for. Does it fall into the magic 3, or am I just like mental masturbating right now? Bought this program, hop on a group call, brag that I signed my first client. You know what I mean? Like, no, man, it's really, you have to make sure that all of your activities fall into these 3 categories. So another example is like watching YouTube videos from other business influencers. Like, to be honest with you, dude, if you don't just focus on what we have to say for the next couple months and only what we have to say, then you're just going to get more distracted, because most of what people say works does ultimately work, right? I heard you got on like a call with Jeremy's program and stuff. Like, everything works. It just matters about focusing on one thing for a while, right? So the magic 3, cut out everything else. Just let us help you with that. So that's my information spiel, dude. That's what you need to do next. If I'm in your shoes, that's what I'm focusing on. If you don't want to pay, do the organic stuff. If you're cool to pay, on your call with Anthony, refine your offer and just get Instagram moving and just get that machine running as quickly as possible and start booking meetings. I think you could, if you really, from now until 7 days from now, you could have an ad that's up that's you're spending $20 a day and you're getting a meeting a day, and you've got at least something moving that you can work with and that we can help you refine. Okay, so do you have any questions for me, man? Let's kind of move into this portion where maybe I can relate some of this back to your specific situation or anything that's on your mind, because that's my spiel, dude. Like, that's what I think you need to do.
because I think I agree with being able to move into the paid ad stuff. I tried to do like last week. I tried to run like a Facebook ad, but I had no idea how to do it properly. So I ran it and no one clicked on it or anything. So I was like, I know I don't know enough to make sure that this works. But what I'm curious about, I want to be able to set that up, and I want to be able to target, because the businesses that are going to get the most benefit from the services that we can do are going to be businesses that are doing over 100,000 per month minimum. They can be small, medium, whatever, it doesn't matter. But if they're doing that, we can get the money back. And the larger their revenue is, the more money we can get them back. And every 100%. Time we close someone with the service that we have, I get a residual from it every single month, which allows me
I heard about that. And that's a neat model.
Yeah.
It's not typically our pricing model, but I can see why that would be really beneficial for yourself. I will say, if you have a pricing model that's like $2,000 ticket or less up front, you may end up in a situation where you're break even on that first sale or even losing on that first sale, but the residual is where you start to profit. So just making sure you're comfortable with that, like that sort of economics within your business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we prefer that it's like a $3,500 or more upfront thing, and we're really good at helping you build that. Maybe there's a coaching component of your offer, or there's some way that we add some perceived value where we can get it there. You know what I mean? Because it's just, it's kind of sticky when we've got a student that's like 15 grand deep on ads and like they may or may not make it back. I hate that situation for somebody. So it's up to you what you want to do there. But yeah, man, let me just show you this. I'll just show you what it looks like to start one of these advertisements. So picking my Instagram here as an example, this is me, my beautiful, lovely wife. So if I click boost post here, this is all we're doing. So we don't actually go into the Meta Business Manager. We don't do anything overly complex. This big blue boost post is more than enough. And what's interesting actually, Jonas, is that, Meta Platforms acts kind of like a drug dealer, which sounds weird to say, but I'll explain. It's in that, how drug dealers give you their best stuff first to get you hooked so that you come back for more later. Same idea. The boost post is like the thing that your like Auntie Fee who runs like an Etsy shop is going to like spend $1,000 on without thinking about it. And if Facebook wants it to just be like a ridiculous return on your spend. And so I'm like, okay, I've got two options here. For my students, most of them aren't going to spend more than $10,000 a month on ads. And we've got one case study student who's spending $10,000 a month, making $100,000, like literally a 10x return with this. And I'll show you his page here in a sec. Okay. So, I'm like, okay, they're not going to spend more than a couple grand a day, like $300 a day max from what I've seen. So let's just stay under the umbrella of the boost post being an effective strategy. Because once you're spending like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a day, yeah, you're going to need to do like the ads manager stuff, the really complex stuff. But for this, it's plenty. It'll bring you here. And for your targeting, dude, it would be ridiculously simple. So I would do age, probably a little bit older, maybe a bit more mature of an age, potentially, just because I assume that the older they are, the more their revenue is going to be. So anywhere from like 25 to 30. Locations I would limit to United States and maybe other Western countries. Okay, so for now, just say United States. Okay. And then I would add, what's really interesting, dude, is a lot of people right here in the targeting, they get super in their own way. They add like 3, 4, 5 targeting entries. They think that the more targeted they get, the better ads can perform. It's actually the opposite. Well, you want to be very broad, but you want to expect a 3 or 4 day sort of learning curve, because Meta now uses artificial intelligence to learn which subsets of humans respond to your advertisement. So if you nail the first 5 seconds of your ad, you're like, hey, this is why the script is the script. Hey, if you are blank, looking to achieve blank without blank, like that's as quickly as we can get into their subconscious as possible so that Facebook can learn how to serve these two. And I'll show you that guy who's spending 10 grand making 100 back. So for you I would literally just do small business owners. That's enough. I'm telling you, like you might niche down a little bit, maybe you can test another one that's like accounting or something. Because like maybe, there's something there about like, people who manage the finances of bigger businesses or something. But that's honestly enough. And then you let the ad copy what you say in the ad, do the rest of the work. So you give it a direction so you're not waiting like 8 weeks for it to learn. Because if you don't give it any direction, it's going to take forever to figure it out, right? But if you get just enough direction to learn, that's when you get the ideal situation. And you get guys like myself, or not like myself. I mean, yes, ourselves, we use this, but now we're more doing the YouTube thing that you came through. Let me show you this guy, Connor. This is his ad. You'll get a case study of him inside of the course where we actually break down his exact spend, the conversations he's having, closing calls he has with the clients, everything like that. It's actually like a full breakdown at the very bottom of the CB 2.0 course material. We do student spotlights. He's one of them. But I'll just show you, this is his ad.
Yo, videographer, there has never been a better time to be your own boss and make well over 6 figures. And yes, even in this current recession, right now is the time to start taking your video business more seriously, because there are literally tens of thousands of clients waiting to pay people just like you tens of thousands of dollars for your services. And I know this because I help videographers just like you book high-ticket video deals every single day. Like Jesse, who just secured a $22K video deal, and before discovering my content, the most he had ever charged for a project.
So one thing, it's not before joining my program, it's before discovering my content. So we're keeping the entry very low. So just follow me on Instagram. And then you're messaging the new followers, messaging the new commenters, starting conversations, following our appointment setting scripts to book consultations. So does that make sense?
It does make sense, yeah.
Cool. Sweet. So what's top of mind for you now, man?
For me now, it's figuring out, how do I create this offer? How can I start recording the ad? To figure out like what is going to be some of the basic things to start getting people back. Making sure that I'm getting business owners that are qualified for what we're doing. So then, like, if I get a business owner that's doing less than 40 or 50K, it's going to be hard for me to do something for them. I can get them like $100 back or something. It's not that much. But if they're doing more, then we can get, like, the bigger they are, the more they're doing. It's interesting you brought up the accounting thing, because with accountants, there could be an even bigger opportunity. Because let's say that the accountant has, they have a firm and they're doing bookkeeping for 15 companies. We can get maybe 10 of those companies onto the cost reduction process. And that one relationship with that one accountant produces $10,000 a month because they brought us 10 clients. You know what I mean? So that's a different interesting angle. It takes a little bit more work because I'm not closing the accountant. I'm closing the accountant and helping me close someone else. And then I will probably do like a residual, like a profit share with that accountant. So then I might give them half or give them something so that once they introduce me, they have a motivation to keep introducing me, which is useful, but it just changes the math on the whole process, changes the relationship. So this is a question that I have, is like, going after the individual business owners, because then I'll get more commission from it. I'll get more money out of it, and it'll be a quicker process. Or doing the accountants, where it's going to take longer. They're going to have to think about like which businesses to go bring it up to the bit. I have to talk through the accountant for the, So I think both are going to be good, but I think to bring in revenue quickly, it's going to be just individual business owners. And then over time, maybe making like some kind of program where I'm go to accountants. I'm like, hey, I'm your accountant's best friend, and you're every accountant that I get to improve their business model by serving them this way. Does that make sense?
Do you want to hear the philosophy that I've used and that I use on our top students that help them kind of navigate like the niche questions of like, do I serve these people or these people? Is it this offer or this offer? Like the underlying philosophy, dude. And I know this is going to sound I don't know if this sounds like a cop-out answer or how you're going to receive this. Bro, both can work. It's honestly like the very first person that I helped get started in consulting, like the very first person, his name was Keaton Walker. And you can go way back on my YouTube channel. I don't know if you looked me up on YouTube, but I've got this YouTube channel. I interviewed a bunch of people. You can go way back. He's like one of the first. Got to like $10,000 a month in like a couple weeks. And he comes to me on a very similar call to like what we're having right now. He's like, hey man, I kind of want to serve these people, but also these people. And like my dad has a relationship with this company. Maybe I could do something there. But also my friend is working for this organization. Maybe I could and he just did it like down the list. He gave me 5. And so I literally told him, assign each one a number 1 through 5, and then go to a random number generator on the internet and pick one. And we're just going to say, we're not going to stop until we're at $10,000 a month with the one, because you have enough understanding right now, dude, of the problems that your marketplace has that I can give you that advice. If you were somebody that like, we get people who join our program, this is the first business they've ever run. They're in a 9-to-5 situation. They don't really know what they're going to sell right now. I can't really say that. I kind of have to creatively help them figure that out. But you're coming to me with some industry experience that I can very confidently say, whether you pick accountants or you pick business owners, it probably needs to be a coin flip for you. Okay, sick, it's business owners. Cool, let's run. And then just move. Where students really screw themselves up is in those little micro decisions, because there's a lot of little micro decisions between here and signing a client. What holds a lot of beginners back, I've seen this over and over again, is over intellectualizing the next steps. Whether it's accountants or business owners honestly, brother, if your income goal is $20,000 a month in this program, the best thing you can do for
Yeah.
yourself is by the end of the day, decide which it's going to be for yourself.
Yeah.
And just make a decision and go. Often I've found that the quality of the decision isn't found in which decision you make, but it's the posture at which you approach the thing you've committed to. So did you really say, I'm not stopping until I get to $20,000 a month doing this? Or was it like, I'm going to try and see if this works, and if I feel any resistance, I'm just going to go the other direction. If it's the latter, you're screwing yourself. You have to just pick, right? Does that make sense? Because a lot of beginners get stuck there, dude. So that would be my advice.
I agree. And I think for now, I think it makes sense to do business owners because it's eventually I would love to be able to create some kind of like strong partner program for accountants and maybe even add extra consulting services where, hey, you're an accountant. I'm sure you're having trouble selling and closing your deals. I'm sure you could be helping your clients more. Like that could be
if you're an accountant and you want to add $2,000 to $3,000 a month to your bottom line, like in the next 30 days, I've got a partnership opportunity. You know what I mean? So whatever. There's ways of approaching all of this. The way that I actually think about what you're doing, dude, is like, how would I script the ads? I'm like, okay, business owners, it's like, hey, if you're doing anywhere from $700,000 to $10 million a year in revenue, I want to save you 20% of your, or whatever, how much you can, I don't know. And 30 days or less without you having to lift a finger or have any awkward meetings with your team members to cut back stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Because that's something that's probably painful for business owners, I imagine. It's like the hard conversations. So, and then for accountants, it's, if you're an accountant, I want to add $2,000 or $3,000 a month to your bottom line in like 30 days or less using my partnership program where we'll help your clients optimize their expenses. Follow me here on Instagram. I'm going to show you how to optimize your clients' expenses, how you can charge for it. But if you want to just partner with me, you can just book a call using the link in my bio and just talk to me and I can set up in your business. Just, So that's how I think, dude. I just think how can we take the concept and go to market as quickly as possible? So many people, dude, they get stuck in just over analyzing and over intellectualizing. Half of my job is getting people to stop thinking so damn hard and just do. And most of the lessons of what you're building are going to come from just, okay, screw it. Let's take $300, go run some ads, see if we can book some meetings, make some offers, see what happens. That's where 90% of this is going to come from. And so a lot of the time, dude, when I'm helping somebody do it this stage is realizing all these thoughts I've been having and all these questions I have and all these concerns and all these wondering and all this, like, should I do this or that or what? It's solved by going and having meetings and talking to people and making offers and seeing what sticks. Like that's 90% of this beginner phase. And I'll tell you this, the second you get a conversion, which I would suspect you're going to get a conversion like the first 14 to 30 days. I really do think you're going to, if you really adopt my energy and adopt my posture here and really go do the stuff I'm telling you to do. Okay. Don't spend the money, don't do anything with it. As I said in the webinar, keep it. It's more ad spends, bro. Put it right back into the front and keep booking more meetings and keep selling. You want to sell up into the point where you have a delivery problem now. The size of your business is always in accordance to the size of the problems you're solving within the business. If you're having to solve marketing and sales problems all day, you can't really grow. You need a really consistent marketing and sales process. The problems you really want to have and where I could get you to $100,000 a month, say you wanted to upgrade. I work with people one-on-one. We get a call a week. I've got this mastermind level program. We got about 40 people in this thing. It's 36 grand. I'm just going to be candid with you out the gate. 36 grand. We got 42 people in here and we help them get to $1 million a year. And I help you build your team, your sales team, help you level up as a leader, help you build a client delivery process that really scales beyond your time. And literally all I do all day, man, I hop on like one team meeting, maybe an onboarding meeting because I enjoy it. I've got an incredible team. I just run the ads, check the finances, make sure we're good. And I kind of do my thing. And that's where this business can really get. But you need to get to $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month in sales with your offer first. And then maybe we can help you get there. And that's where your model of the residual gets really, really, really sexy. It's actually something that I don't have. I don't have any residual. So my model's flawed in that way where I've worked now with 600 clients, 90% of them don't pay me a dime anymore. So if I could go back and do something with a little more residual, I'd probably have done that at the time where maybe 12 months in, we start billing them $300 a month, like tiny, something really, really tiny. You know what I mean? And then just, we would stack that over like 4 years and it'd be like, 30, 40 grand a month. Right. So yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the exciting thing. I think now I'm excited to meet up with Anthony and figure out the details of how to actually create the ads, start organizing them. Mm-hmm. I'm also doing next week, I'm doing this, it's a B2B sales bootcamp. So it's all like cold calling processes. So I'm going to be learning how to do that process. And I think half of the business is going to be perhaps running through ads and getting clients, getting meetings through the ads. And the other side is going to be constantly just in the trenches, calling as many business owners as possible, learning, because it's also going to, like, every time I cold call someone, the ad I'm going to be running probably that week or that month is going to get better because I'm learning what the people are responding to.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Here's one thing I would say though, dude. The cold calling is the bottom floor of trading time for money. That's the bottom floor. Like, that's the very, very, very bottom. If you're going to introduce a cold calling element, I would want you to do something that we do in our company. We warm call people. So when you opted in for that training, name, phone, email, you should have at some point gotten a call. Maybe you didn't answer it, but we call people within like 5 to 10 minutes of their initial opt into our stuff. And, 40% answer. And then of that 40%, like half are good to go to set up a meeting, right? And so what you're going to do, if you're going to launch ads, like, it makes no sense. These are two very conflicting interests, bro. Launching ads and cold calling, it doesn't make any sense. You want to launch ads, and if anything, maybe have a free resource in your Instagram bio that in return for getting it, you collect their number. And then you set up a little thing where, you get a notification whenever somebody opts in and you call them within like 2 minutes. That would be ideal, because then at least you're in context and you're not spending 2 hours a day doing this, which we don't teach that, because sure, it works and it's just a volume game and that's great. But so are ads. Ads is also a volume game, but instead of spending energy in your body and, you have to go to sleep and recoup that energy and eat and recoup that energy, you're spending money, which you can make more of. So you're spending money to create opportunity versus wasting your energy. So do the boot camp. I'm sure there's a lot of value there. And frankly, a lot of the skills you learn in cold calling, they apply to sales generally. So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying, dude, really lean into the way that we generate leads, because otherwise, you're not going to get the most of this program. You're not going to get the quickest return on your investment here. And I just don't want you doing anything that we don't teach, because if we don't teach it, then we can't optimize it with you, right? And so you're just out there, in left field, and we can't really help you.
Makes sense,
right? Yeah. So
that makes sense. Okay,
cool.
And I like the idea of, like, you're getting the warm responses and they're giving you the number, and then you just talk to them, and sometimes you can get things done so much quicker. They're just like, cool, I'm interested in it right now, perfect, and then you can set them up in the same day or the next day and make it super fast.
Totally, man. And once you kind of know the rule book of how we do things, business is a science and an art. Like, once you have the rule book, you can kind of break the rules and do things the way you want to do them, right? It's like, I don't know, this is just extreme hypothetical. With our appointment setting script, you're setting your own appointments. Screw it, man. Put a spot in the script yourself where you say, hey, give me your number, I'll call you real quick. And then you just freaking call the guy and have the conversation like you normally would. Maybe you warm people up way better that way, and you're able to book way more meetings with that, right? So once you know the rules, you can break them yourself and kind of put your own skills into play. But I'm very cautious to recommend that a student goes any path other than the one that we've really dialed in. Like, if we teach it, it works. And I'd rather not waste your time. You can do it if you want to, but it's not what we teach, so we can't really help you with that. So
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Cool. Sweet, man. So we got 15 minutes. What makes the most sense for you, kind of starting to wrap up this call, for us to hang out on and chat a bit more about, just to make this a valuable meeting for you?
Let's see. Because I guess now I'm thinking about how to creating the ad, starting to get some traction with that, seeing how the response is, because it's the same thing. It's like anything in sales, you get enough output out, you're just looking for the people that are responsive to the thing. You know what I mean? So it's just it's the same thing, that it's always sales, but it's just now I don't have to. Now I get to just craft one really great message instead of trying to say the same message a million times over and over again.
Literally. Yep. That's the right way of thinking. Your ad will cold call for you, bro. You don't need to cold call. Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to think that way, because it's also like, now they're discovering you. They'll pay more because they came to you. It'll make it easier.
You've got the
They're
frame.
excited.
They feel like they discovered you. You've got the frame there. That's the cool thing about ads, dude, is even though you're paying to be discovered, people feel like they discovered you, because they're like, oh, I clicked the ad. You know what I mean? Even though, there's a completely different frame there, because it's like, if they're the still moving force and you're the one coming with energy, it takes way more energy to get them to move with you. But if you're the still moving force and they come to you, you've got the authority there, so you can navigate those relationships way easier. Yeah.
So I think that's going to be exciting. it's cool really just figuring out like, and then once I get 1 or 2 or 3 of these clients in, and I know there's a monthly coming back in, now I have like a solid base that I can invest back into more ads. So I can like, if I want my day to be full of people to talk to, great. Like they'll just set it up, you know, just crank up the machine to make it, get the people coming.
Turn up the ads, talk to people, book in a couple calls, make some deals. Yep. That's the ideal scenario for you. And I honestly think, dude, like if you knew everything that is in my head and in Anthony's head and in our course's head, and you just had it all right here, it would take you 72 hours. Like, there's just a few small things we got to fit. Like you're saying, how do I film the ads? I mean, dude, it's the script, right? So I mean, I'll just text you the script. You just use your phone, and then you use an app called Captions to add captions to it. We've noticed that really, really helps with the retention of the viewership. So you can download the app now. It's free, or it's like $2 a month or something. And then we just get running. So there's that quote from Einstein, right? There's almost an art to simplicity. A lot of times I've found that a lot of business coaches almost take a little bit of pride in how complex and how kind of, it feels like a lot of moving pieces. And like, no, dude, I've spent $2.5 million on advertising. I've learned a ton of lessons. And I've been able to distill all the way down to the core, most necessary components for somebody to make a really nice return. You know what I mean? So, and now we're here. So I'll just send you the script here and some examples as well. I'll just text them to you using my business cell. Just so you know, this is a burner cell, so you can't actually reach me from here. Best place to go will be Anthony through the circle link, which you should have gotten, obviously, because you're on a group call and stuff.
I got it,
Cool. So I sent you that script there, man. If you are niche or group looking to achieve, reach, breakthrough, get to end goal in time frame or less, then I want you to follow me here on Instagram where I post daily tips. You get the idea. So, yeah.
Nice. Is the same? This is the only reason I think the reason that I got attracted to you guys is because in that ad I was like, this is a relatable person. I can if this person can achieve this, I can achieve this. And so many of the other trainers, it's like it's so much primp and polish and all this stuff that I'm like, who are you? How could I ever be like? It's if I got on a call with you, I wouldn't feel like I'm able to like jump this giant hurdle to be able to get to where you are at. But then here I'm like, okay, cool. You did that. You're seeing success. I can do that. Let's do it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's intentional, dude. It's baked into it. And it's because I think a lot of marketers just kind of have like a pomptuous kind of like holier than thou, like it is, it's kind of, you have to be able to have the delicate balance between I know my stuff and I know what it's going to take to get you there. However, I've been in your shoes, or I know people that have been in your shoes and how painful it is. And I just want better for you, And so I think if there's an attitude that makes the students of ours really succeed, it's kind of a humility and knowing that really they're just a bridge between where somebody is now and where they want to get. Like they're not the special thing. Their clients are the special thing. Their job is just to like move them to the thing. Right. And like when you have that sort of humility and integrity about your relationships, I've found that it's just way easier to do business, to be honest. And you get like way less in your head when you start to succeed, which is very important. Otherwise, people like get their ego in the way and they lose their success. That's the first thing. The second one is just genuinely being excited to see the transformations. Because if you, I believe that as human beings, we will get whatever we want. I really do believe that's true. At a base level, there's things that you say that you want, but at a base level, you don't actually want them. That's why you don't have them. And so if you really wanted your clients to succeed, what would you do? If you really wanted to sign 1 or 2 clients a day, what would you do? But anyway, I digress. Being honest about what you want and making one of those wants, seeing your clients succeed. And I've found if you really do want them to succeed, then you will naturally, as a byproduct, build processes. And I know it's very high level, obviously the details we have in our course and everything, but this is definitely not the road to hell is paved with good intentions situation. If you have good intentions, it's very helpful. And probably the last one, is like P2P, right? So we don't believe in B2C or B2B. We believe in person to person. So people buy the consultant as much as they buy the consulting program. So who are you and why should I care is a really important question to answer at every stage. If you notice, you can watch back the webinar if you want, just kind of a lesson in messaging. One of the earlier questions we start with is who am I and why should you care, right? Well, I tried this thing. It felt weird. I didn't like it. A lot of people have felt that way before, and I know that I did. And, I don't want that for you. I want something better for you, just like I want something better for myself. Here's the process of discovery of that better thing. And I'm going to show you how to do this better thing for yourself. Whether you pay me a dime or not, I'm just going to show you the high level. You see what I mean? And so that's kind of the approach. Yeah.
So then when we're creating the ad, so we're hooking the people in, they're coming in, and in the beginning, should I just go book a call? or should I have a video? The same.
Yeah.
Like, what's the?
So we
tactical.
recommend, there's kind of two places that you're going to get calls from. So you would have a link in your bio that's just your Calendly link, and we'll give you all the software, like the software stack and stuff for all the booking and collecting payments and all that stuff. I'm not going to waste your time on that here. But there's a software we use called Calendly where people can book in a time right on your calendar. You're just going to put it right on your Instagram bio. And you're maybe going to block off those hours where you're usually working at Verizon. So any of your spare time, maybe you've got like 3 hours a day where people can book in. And so you'll get a couple bookings naturally having to talk to people, which is great. Good enough. Problem with that is they're uninformed bookings, so they might end up being like 2 or 3 call closes, whereas somebody that you talked to on the DM, they kind of know who you are, they know why they're here, they know what they're gonna, whatever. So it's maybe like a 1 call close. So it's from your bio, and then from messaging the likers, commenters, and new followers of your Instagram account. And then if you notice, for example, I'll pull up again, I'll just pull up my bio, check it out. So 0 to first million in 2 years online, didn't you learn to get my help? So whenever you get these messages, these are hot leads, just shoot them back real quick. And so, then you kind of go through appointment setting training script, ask the key questions, get clarity on where they're at, and then move them from there. So that's how we book meetings. We don't mention booking a meeting in our ad because what we're trying to do is keep the ask very, very low. If the ask is high, like book a call, I'm going to talk to you about my program. They're like, screw you. I don't want to do, they follow me on Instagram is the perfect entryway, because what you'll notice, dude, is actually not only do people not respond to it, but actually Meta, Facebook ads, they stop serving it to people if they don't engage with it. So if your call to action is really like intent heavy, which it requires like book a call with me, we'll talk about our program. A lot of people are averse to that. They don't know who you are. They're not going to waste their time on a call with you. Like they have no context, right? So our ad, the one that you clicked that got you to the webinar training that you watched and everything, it's just, hey, I've built this free training. It's going to show you everything I know about how to make this work for you. It's completely free. You've got nothing for sale in it. You know what I mean? And even at the beginning, I'm like, you don't have to do anything. If you want to book a call, you're welcome to. But you can also check me out online. I've got a ton of free resources, whatever, right? And so that's kind of the approach is in the initial outset, it's just, hey, I've got this free thing. Check it out. Which in your case would be, I've got this Instagram account where I post kind of tips and advice and strategies and stories of people I've worked with and on and on and on. Right. And you really need like 1 post a week. You don't worry about making content. That's not what this is about. People get hung up on that. You're not trying to post a bajillion pieces of content. Because the only reason you would want to do that is for the reach that you get organically. We're subsidizing that with paid advertising. So like 1 post a week is fine. Yeah. Cool.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, I guess it's pretty simple. Just start to do the work,
Yep.
Because it's like, once I can create my cold calling myself, just duplicate myself in the ads and have them go call people via Instagram and all this stuff by themselves. Mm-hmm. Then I can focus on, once I get these business owners in, how do I maximize those conversations? Because every business owner who's in their shoes where they are making a certain over 100K per month probably has 5, 6, 7, 8 other business owners that they know that they can bring in. And I can be like, hey, if you introduce me to 5 of your friends, I'll give you half of the commission.
Sure.
You get some more cash flow. Why not? Come bring your friends around.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? Like maximizing every relationship. And then they're gonna feel great. And then they're gonna be like, all their friends are gonna be like, oh my gosh, you just saved me $10,000 in my business. Thank you so much. So it'll help them.
Yep.
So that'll be the next stage. And then from there, it's, the thing that I'm excited about is right now it's like, how do I make the system work? Because I tried to do this, I tried to do it last year, where I worked with this marketing company. And it was all based on cold calling. I had no training, no processing, and all that stuff. And I had no systematic system to get new clients. So I was getting like a client a month, but I wasn't doing it in a way that was like sustainbble for me. I wasn't able to
because you were cold calling. Yeah, because you were doing so many cold calls. That's what I mean, dude. So, bro, we're humans. Like we only have a limited amount of energy every day. And I value my time and my energy. It's my greatest asset is my time and my energy. Like you couldn't pay me any amount of money to just steal a year of my time. Like you couldn't give me $1 billion because I understand that time and energy. Like if I were to die a year sooner, you couldn't even pay me $1 billion. Because like I understand if I were to die a year sooner, who knows what that year could be worth, right? So time, energy, the amount of attention we can pour into something, that's our greatest asset. So I want you to be very, very reserved here moving forward about what you give your time and energy and attention to, and allow us to tell you what those value actions are, because we know, dude. So you can bank on our expertise in that we're only going to give you the things that we know are going to move the needle. again, the magic 3, dude. Everything else is noise. Okay. And we'll tell you how to do the magic 3, the details of the magic 3. So yeah, dude, I've never understood, in our era, why cold emails and cold calls exist. I think it's honestly because people overcomplicate the simplicity of just a decently well-refined advertisement. It doesn't really take much. You're going to film probably 7 or 8 versions, launch them for, you spend $20, you'll know if it's going to work. Like seriously, that quick. You don't have to go $1,000 deep, really more like $30. The statistician's favorite number is 30. So spend $30, you'll know. And then if it doesn't work, turn it off, try another one, and then eventually you have one that just is like, whoa, this is, I'm now spending $100 and I'm still happy I'm doing it. Screw it. Let's raise the budget. Let's spend a little more. And you end up with an advertising, you spend $100 a day, you book a call or 2 a day off the back of it. And that's why Anya, who is really active in our Wins channel right now, has a 45x return on her advertising. So name another business, bro. 45x. So yeah, bro, you're in the right place, man. You've made a great decision. The details will come to you as the relationship moves forward. I'm really excited for you to get your onboarding call with Anthony. Go to the sales training in the course. Go to the sort of launching to the market training in the course, and really bank on Anthony's advice. I told him over Slack just now, hey, just get this guy right into the paid stuff. He's going to crush it. He needs refinement of his offer, though. So on your onboarding call, he'll go a little bit into the details there, go a little bit into offer and everything, and we'll get you moving as quickly as possible. Well, last note, dude, just take massive action. Like, don't sit on the stuff we're telling you to do. Trust me, the more you intellectualize it, the more you think. The brain is so strange. It thinks it's discovering things by thinking, but you can't discover anything by thinking. You have to do. That's where the discoveries happen. So if we tell you to do something, go do it and then report back, and then we can adjust with you. You can use the speed at which our brain can use pattern detection because of the tens of millions of dollars you generated for our clients to help you realize where you're going wrong. Okay, but you got to do it. Okay, welcome aboard, dude. Happy to have you here, man.
Thank you so much, man.
Mm-hmm. And message Anthony. Get set up with your onboarding call, and I will see you hopefully sometime in the future, man. Best of luck. Welcome aboard once again. And do you have any last questions for me before we hop off? Let me just make sure I'm ending this on a good note.
I think that's all. I don't know if there's anything right now, but I'll reach out if there's other things. Yeah. Cool.
Do you feel confident? Do you feel good?
Yeah, I think honestly, just learning how to do the ads, and once I get my first systematic booking on the ads, I think it's going to be like, why do anything else? Yeah, because there's no point. Because you can, if I'm doing, like if I'm spending 2 hours calling people and get the same results as if I spend $30 or $40 ads, why the fuck would I do that? Because I could just make more money putting more ads, getting closes, and like, there's no, it doesn't make sense. It stops making sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Like the value of 2 hours, man. 2 hours, you can take 2 sales calls, land 2 clients that pay you, a residual now.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? So the things you should spend your time doing is prospecting in the DM, setting up sales calls, and delivering for existing clients. Getting those initial interactions and relationships, man, that's ads, bro. You're just going to waste your time otherwise. So, all right, man, I'll let you go.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here, man. Let me know how your call with Anthony goes. Message me in Circle. I'll see you.
I will. All right.
Bye.